How's it going, everyone? My name is AJ, and today I'm going to answer a fitness question. Lunges or split squats can be done a variety of ways and are a real staple for most fitness programs. That being said, it's not unusual to hear or feel a click or a pop from your knee when performing this exercise. And although the sensation isn't necessarily painful, it's reasonable to be curious or even concerned as to why it's happening and if it's potentially dangerous. In this video, I'm going to explain why your knee clicks when you lunge, how serious it is, and what to do to fix it from a scientific perspective. Before I go any further, please support the channel by leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the notification bell to ensure you stay up to date on new videos. There could be one of two means causing the clicking in your knee, assuming it's not painful. If the pop occurs every once in a while, you're probably experiencing something called cavitation, where air bubbles become trapped in the knee joint over time and then burst when the knee bends or extends. It's kind of like popping bubble wrap, except way less amusing. This process is normal and not something I would stress about. However, if you have a chronic click when you lunge, it's a different story. As your knee tracks during the exercise, many muscles and tendons slide over the patella, which produces some noise, but typically not enough to be heard or felt. If there is scar tissue built up from a previous injury, or you have certain muscles that are undertrained or neglected, they might become weak and stiffen. This causes an increase in muscle tension, particularly within the glutes, hip flexors, and quadriceps, which may shift certain joints, like your hip and knee, out of optimal working position. So instead of little to no noise, you end up with more aggressive contact between the bones and tendons during movement, which often translates into a louder pop or snap. You see this pretty often with people whose lunge form is not ideal, or are dealing with muscle weaknesses and imbalance. Obviously, this isn't an ideal scenario, but because there's no pain, is it really that bad? Well, I wouldn't go into full-blown panic mode, but something should be done. Research has found that people who experienced chronic knee clicking and had no intervention were 3 times more likely to develop pain in the form of osteoarthritis than people who did intervene. And if pain starts to set in, it is that much more difficult to fix. Knee clicking also makes you less efficient during lunges, meaning you won't be able to make nearly as many gains compared to if your joint was aligned correctly. Let me show you 2 solutions that work well to quickly silence the noise. Let's start by addressing the quickest fix, which is form related. The 2 biggest form faults with lunges involve excessive hip internal rotation and insufficient glute and hamstring activation. To fix this, first focus on keeping the knee slightly outside the ankle during the entire range of motion, not just the eccentric but concentric portion of the movement as well. Second, keep your front heel down and use your whole foot to drive up into your finished position. This adjustment should help fire up your glutes and hamstrings much more and realign the knee joint. If you do not see an improvement after these adjustments, move on to step 2. Start by performing a lunge or 2 to assess the extent of the click. Note how loud it is and how it feels. Next, pick a muscle group and do some stretching and mobility drills. Common culprits could be the quadriceps, calves, and IT band, but you may have tightness in the hamstrings and glute muscles, which can very easily contribute as well. Just because the noise is coming from the knee joint doesn't mean that the problem is at the knee joint. It could be at the hip. Once you're done stretching, retest the lunge. If the clicking goes down, the muscle you stretched is likely contributing to the problem, and you should spend a little extra time mobilizing and strengthening it while you're at the gym. Feel free to give either option a try and let me know what you found out in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, share it with your friends, subscribe, and turn notifications on. Thank you so much for watching, and stay strong.